last few years, 8 or 9 years, has won the division. And so we knew we were in for a battle. Very talented group over there. I know the record doesn't indicate that, but it was no surprise it was going to be a battle for us for 4 quarters.
Coach, what do you attribute Deion's inconsistency this season so far? What's going on when it's causing his drops you can point out to him in practice?
Yeah, the biggest thing is, he's made some nice plays, and then, he's had some of these missed. The biggest thing on that one that you go back and correct, you don't say that this is something that's been going on. On that one, he took his eyes off. He took the catch for granted. That he had the ball right there, and I think he was looking down to find where the sideline was. And, we always talk about, those last 24 inches are the most critical part of the catch, and really to see it all the way through and not take your eyes off. So that's the biggest thing on that one. There's a lot of things to coach up, but, he's also made some really big plays, and so it's not a situation where we've lost confidence. It's a bigger thing of, just getting on the same page with the quarterback and both guys doing their job to be able to execute those plays downfield like we know we're capable of.
Going back to Kelly, it looked like early in the game Kelly had another situation where he had somebody open, he didn't let it rip, and Dabo sat down with him on the sidelines and talked to him. How do you find with a young quarterback that kind of middle ground between protecting the football but letting it rip? Does that just maybe come with experience?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is you learn every game, and sometimes we catch ourselves with the way that Kelly's been playing and leading this offense this year, where a lot of things are going really well and we're winning a lot of games. I think we've won every game that he started and finished. So you kind of catch yourself thinking that he's been out there for the last couple of years. But, there are times, just like Deshaun's freshman year, he had plenty of things, coaching points and those type of things. So you just use all those opportunities to really coach those guys up. And, I think that the deep ball shots are more maybe visible, and you go back and look, overall, every week we go back and study ourselves and kind of compare where we were this year to last year just to see any areas. And I think, last year at this point, Deshaun had completed 66% of his passes, and this year, after 10 games, Kelly's completed 65%. And, the biggest difference is just those 5 or 6 deep balls, that can really make up the difference for where we want to be. So, it's not something that, we're wanting Kelly to press or anything like that. And again, if we get in the coach's box and watching the video and all that, there's plenty of responsibility that goes around more than just Kelly. But, overall, he's doing a great job. He's led his team to a division championship in his first year starting, and yes, he's protected the ball, better. But as far as throwing the ball, obviously he's got some fumbles that he needs to get cleaned up. But yes, we want him to have that confidence to let that ball rip and to understand when those times are, and when you get those one-on-one matchups, go ahead and let that go. And he's, like I've said before, he's only going to get better and better. And I think for us, that's exciting. I think there'd be a lot of people this year that love to have his production out there, but he's only going to get better and better, just like our offense and our team will as we finish the year.
The play with T, where he kind of rolled out, I think T was blocking. What kind of happened with that? Is that T still learning the play?
Yeah, that was a missed assignment by T. That was an RPO. Has a tag onto a run, and that's a freshman out there. He's got to get the complete signal. He's on the other side of the field, and it was just a very small signal added to the end of a run signal, that he's got to be able to go. But again, for him, that's a learning experience, and it happens once, you learn from it, and our expectation is that it doesn't happen again. And T's a guy that, when he's in there, he plays fast. He was going to block that guy full speed, but that was the best part of it. The bad part was he wasn't supposed to block him. He's supposed to run a conversion ball and have an opportunity there. And that's another example of having an opportunity to throw a conversion versus a good look, and not everybody being on the same page. And there's a lot of different pieces going in there, but we're not making excuses. That's who we are, and we're going to look at it, coach it, correct it, and be better for it.
Coach, what can you say about Travis and his touchdown to touches ratio, and how he just seems to every game find a way to break out and continually have those big runs?
Yeah, He's dynamic. I'm glad that we've got him. When he touches the ball, he's has the potential to score at any moment when he gets it. And trying to find more ways to get him the ball, just like throwing the ball out of the backfield. That was an explosive play whenever he got the ball coming out of the backfield. You know, and again, this is game 10. You know, he's at a lot better place than he was game 3, 4, 5, as far as understanding the entire big picture. You know, all the little things that go with it. I mean, we're moving around and asking those guys to do a lot of things, but he's doing better and better. Played one of his best games, so I think he's in a good spot and only going to improve, and we'll continue to find ways to get him the ball.
Jeff, it seemed like most of the last month the playoff talk surrounded, well, there are going to be 2 SEC teams in the league. Now, with you guys in Miami, the talk switching to the ACC, what's that say about the quality of this league and the way things are trending for you guys?
I mean, I think we've felt like the last few years that the ACC is really trending up. You know, I mean, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, and people were asking Coach Sweeney that question, and he said, well, the other teams outside of Florida State, you know, need to start winning. That's the way that we get it. And I feel like we have. And, you know, Miami's obviously doing good things on that other side. And you know, there's been, I think from top to bottom, our league has shown a lot of competitiveness. And, you know, and the good news is I feel like a lot of our teams are positioned well for the future. I don't feel like this is just a 1 or 2 year thing because certain teams have these franchise players and then they're going to go back down. You know, I really feel like our league is as strong as it's ever been, and I think that's good for everybody.
Coach Ray finally reached pay dirt in the punting game at NC State, and he had another long 35-yard return the other day. I don't think he's ever lacked confidence, but it seems like he's kind of in the zone in the punting game right now.
Yeah, I think we've been close, you know, and obviously the big returns, you know, have come at good times. And, you know, I know this, obviously last week at NC State was one of the difference in the games with the 7 points, and then this week I believe Travis's touchdown run came right after that punt return. So we get big momentum, get the ball in the red zone or right there on the plus side of the field, and then first play touchdown. I mean, those are explosive plays. But I think along with his returns, I'm probably more encouraged with the way that he's handled the ball. We've had very few poor decisions back there as far as, you know, when to come up and catch it, when to let the ball bounce, and fielding the ball. I mean, all those things, those are, when you're playing in these tight games, those are big, huge plays and can be difference makers in the game. So I think he's definitely done a better job with that. And then, you know, also got to give those guys up front on the front line of the punt return team, you know, have done a good job and shown some improvement holding those guys up. And, you know, we proved you just got to give Ray a little bit of room, and he can impact the game. And that's something Coach Sweeney, I mean, he stresses on all the time, is the special teams and making a difference in special teams. And so it's been good to see our punt return game improve, and we're hoping that'll continue.
Jeff, the Citadel's not having the year they've had the last couple of years, but what do you see out of their defense so far?
Yeah, well, I think what you would always expect from a you know, military type school is you see a disciplined team. You know, they play hard. They're where they're supposed to be. You don't see a lot of bust with guys looking around, pointing fingers at each other. You know, they've had times this year where they've played people very well. You know, a couple weeks ago, I think getting ready to play Western Carolina, they were, you know, top in defense in their league in a few areas. And I think the last couple weeks, you know, they haven't had the same success that they did early in the year. You know, but for us, it's really the same message. You know, it's not about who we play; it's about how we play. That's been the same message when we were getting ready to play Auburn and Louisville and Virginia Tech. You always got to have respect for your team, and obviously, you know what they did in Columbia a few years ago. You know, our guys still remember that; they know about that, and there's plenty of reminders out there that if you don't come out focused, you know, it doesn't matter who you play. You know, you can have a long day, and so our guys know that, they respect that, and they respect Citadel, and we'll watch them on video. And you know, as coaches, we spend the same amount of time, you know, getting ready and going through. You can't cheat the process as a player or a coach, or you put yourself in jeopardy on Saturday. So this week will be really about ourselves and improving ourselves in some of those areas, and you know, going out and playing our best game we can Saturday, and then we'll worry about the next one after that.
All good.
All right.